In an interview with Chris Cuomo on CNN, otherwise known as the Clinton News Network, Hillary Clinton decided to put her arrogance on full display for seemingly no reason. Take a look.
So you get into the general election if you're the nominee for your party?
I will be the nominee for my party, Chris. That is already done, in effect. There is no way that I won't be. I have every confidence we're going to be unified. I understand.
Where does that confidence come from?
Well, in part from my own experience. You know, I went all the way to the end against then Senator Obama. I won 9 out of the last 12 contests. Back in 2008, I won Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia. So I know the intense feelings that arise, particularly among your supporters as you go toward the end. But we both were following the same rules, just as both Senator Sanders and I are following the same rules. And I'm 3 million votes ahead of him, and I have an insurmountable lead in pledged delegates. And I am confident that just as I did with Senator Obama, where I said, you know what, it was really close, much closer than it is between me and Senator Sanders right now.
Votes-wise?
Yeah, vote-wise and delegate-wise. I said, you know, in fact, if you depend on how you evaluated it, I had more popular vote, but I had fewer delegates. And the name of the game is how many delegates you have, right? So when I came out and withdrew and endorsed Senator Obama, about 40%, according to polls, about 40% of my supporters said they would never support him. So I worked really hard to make the case, as I'm sure Senator Sanders will, that whatever differences we might have, they pale in comparison to the presumptive nominee of the Republican Party. Name an issue you care about, domestic or international, and clearly we are much closer, Senator Sanders supporters and mine, than either of us is with Donald Trump.
So literally, when he was asking you a question, you have to cut him off mid-sentence so that way you can say, no, I'm winning. There's no way I won't be the nominee. I will be the nominee. You cut him off just to brag? Who does that? You couldn't have just answered the question? Why would you want to rub salt in the wounds of Bernie Sanders supporters? And by saying that, isn't that disrespectful to your opponent, Bernie Sanders, who's still very much in the race? I'm not even sure that she actually realizes that her attitude is off-putting. And the problem is that even moments later, she decided to talk about how she's inevitably going to unify the party. I can't help but laugh. I've never seen this before. She is running such a bad campaign. See, here's the problem with your argument, Hillary Clinton. See, you can't unify the party because rather than actually trying to court Bernie Sanders supporters, the only pitch that you've made to us is, well, I'm winning and they have no other choice, so they have to vote for me. Because of course they don't want a Republican to win, right? And meanwhile, you are now courting Bush's donors. So rather than adopting some of Bernie Sanders' platform and trying to court us and being nicer to Bernie Sanders, you've been incredibly condescending. You've done everything to push us even further and further away. So if you're really sure that you're going to win, wouldn't you want to get us on board? Because newsflash, you're not going to win without us. See, you can't get the youth vote. You can't get independents. So if Bernie Sanders supporters, even if a fraction of the people who say they're Bernie or bust really don't vote for you in November, guess what happens? You go down. And even as she was talking about party unity, she couldn't help herself. She had to brag some more. Well, I'm 3 million votes ahead of him. I have an insurmountable lead in pledged delegates. Nanny, nanny, boo, boo. And then finally, she says, the differences between me and Bernie pale in comparison to the Republican Party. Name an issue you care about, and me and him are much closer. Well, Hillary Clinton loves to dole out these challenges, and I am always more than willing to accept them. So Hillary Clinton, I accept your challenge. I present you an issue. Free trade. So when it comes to the issue of free trade, who's closer to Bernie Sanders? Is it Donald Trump or is it Hillary Clinton? Well, it's Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is actually to the left of Hillary Clinton when it comes to free trade. He does not support these disastrous free trade policies. At least he says he doesn't, even though he benefits from them. But here's one example. Another issue, the Syrian no-fly zone. You're in favor of that, but Republicans like Rand Paul are against it. And also on the subject of Rand Paul, he's against NSA spying. You voted for the Patriot Act. So I don't think that this argument necessarily holds weight. And this is because Hillary Clinton is a socially liberal Republican. See, she is socially liberal. I'm not going to deny that. At least she says she is. And she certainly pays lip service to social issues, even though I don't think she actually cares about them. But she's a socially liberal Republican. But when it comes to economics, she's a neoliberal. When it comes to foreign policy, she's a neoconservative. So you get the same exact policies as Republicans with Hillary Clinton, with the exception of social policy. So all you can hope for is that she will appoint a Supreme Court justice that will help further social causes and social justice movements. But we can't even expect that with Hillary now, because she said that she wouldn't ask Barack Obama to withdraw his nomination of Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland is a conservative. So with Hillary Clinton, if we can't even get a liberal Supreme Court justice, the difference between you and the Republicans is a very, very blurred line now. It's almost indistinguishable. So now Bernie Sanders saw her arrogance and he decided to release a response. So his campaign states, in the past 3 weeks, voters in Indiana, West Virginia, and Oregon respectfully disagreed with Secretary Clinton. We expect voters in the remaining 8 contests will also disagree, with almost every national and state poll showing Senator Sanders doing much, much better than Secretary Clinton against Donald Trump. It is clear that millions of Americans have growing doubts about the Clinton campaign. And that's absolutely true. She claims to be the nominee, yet when it comes to hypothetical matchups between her and Donald Trump, slowly but surely Donald Trump is catching up to you, Hillary. And you're not doing anything to court Bernie Sanders supporters. You're not doing anything to court independents. You're only running to the right, while Donald Trump is now running to the left on many issues. He attacked you for being trigger happy. I covered that in the last episode. So yes, we have our doubts about Hillary Clinton. And if you are the nominee, that could very well be a disaster. We could very well get a Donald Trump president. So if you voted for Hillary Clinton, President Trump thanks you.